Bitcoin has just done something absolutely huge right here.
With Bitcoin in any market, we're seeing when the news comes, it just starts to pile on and you get negative news after negative news after negative news.
Bitcoin is going to zero. Zero.
This line dates back to basically the entire bull market, and it's a line that we need to break in order to get back to being bullish on Bitcoin.
This is a very important time in the market right now where if you hold Bitcoin, this is obviously going to be absolutely critical for you.
Does this mean that a huge Bitcoin pump is going to happen very soon?
It looks like the bull market might be back in action. We see Bitcoin going back up over $40,000, up to $44,000 today, and still climbing higher.
If we could break through this and hold, I mean, the next step is 46. We could definitely see Bitcoin in the 50s in no time.
How does Bitcoin position itself against, for example, gold and silver, and why you still think those have potential in terms of assets?
Right. Well, Bitcoin is now replacing gold. So I think we're seeing that in the market. Gold is flatlining against Bitcoin. And the industry is moving. Sovereigns are moving to Bitcoin. Corporations are moving to Bitcoin. And if you remove gold's use as a store of value from the marketplace, then it wouldn't be trading above aluminum, right? So gold is becoming the new aluminum because the market is speaking, and the market sends out signals. And to be able to separate signal from noise is a skill that people can acquire. And what it's telling us is that Bitcoin is usurping gold. That implies a minimum price target of Bitcoin of 500,000 a coin.
What is the most bullish factor? You know, like Alex, I hear so many versions. One is China banned mining and trading, and still Bitcoin only went down to 29K, one of the biggest, arguably, economic powers on the planet. A country making Bitcoin legal tender, the ETF, two countries,
Ukraine and El Salvador, right?
That's true, yeah. ETF, well, obviously it's a combination always, but what do you think is the most bullish factor? Is it the ETF still, or?
Right now it's ETF because, you know, like if you think about it as like the guard at the gate, right? The guard that doesn't let all the institutional money come in is really the fact that there is no ETF, because ETF is a product that every one of those institutions can use. Today, they have to buy GBTC, or they have to buy the actual underlying and store it with Fidelity or Coinbase or whatever. That's not easy for even for institutions, right? It's not easy. But if you can just go and buy something that has almost zero fees and is tracking the Bitcoin very well and has volume, you're gonna have, again, hundreds of billions of dollars come in, right? So you own coins, I own coins, that's what we want, right? We want all these people to come in. That's what makes our coins more valuable. So when we preaching mass adoption, yes, I'm talking my own book proudly, and so do you, right? I mean, we all want, this is first time in history where the institutions are the last ones to come to the party. Usually they're the ones selling us stocks at all-time highs.
Yeah, and dumping on us.
Exactly. So it's time for payback.
Everyone who's running a public company, they will want to have some sort of Bitcoin in their treasury, because it is a headline-grabbing event and people will start to look at your stock, and some of the more entrepreneurial guys will start to look into it. I'm sure a lot of them are buying it. They just haven't announced it yet, because why announce if you're still buying it? You want to complete your asset purchase, have the required number of Bitcoin in your treasury before you make an announcement. So I think a lot of companies are doing that right now. Look out for buy orders on weekdays as well, US times as well. So we don't know who, but I think it's just a matter of time before they announce that they've acquired X number of Bitcoin for X amount of dollars. So I'm personally looking at Bitcoin price chart on a logarithmic scale, not on a linear scale. So it has like 0, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and $100,000 lines, right? So if you look at the Bitcoin's chart from 2011 or so onwards, right? And if you look at its chart from on a log scale, you can kind of see that it tracks pretty closely. You can kind of draw like two upward sloping lines on the support and resistance level. And this seems to indicate that it might touch 100K, and not just me, right? A few other banks, I think Morgan Stanley also, or JP Morgan said that it will hit 164K. Who knows, right?
The amount of institutional interest right now is just mind-blowing. And like you said, in this bull cycle, 300,000, sure. But like next bull cycle, I think $1 million is easy. So $1 million per Bitcoin. And
Well, by then, I would love to see the world talk about Bitcoin in Satoshis, not Bitcoin,
Yeah.
because unit bias is a big problem.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, we cannot sit there with these digits and stuff. It has to be Satoshi. So a cup of coffee will be like 300 Satoshi.
Yeah.
Something like this, yeah. Do you think that we need a second layer solution for this to work, or what do you think?
We already have it, Lightning. Bitcoin is becoming very difficult to use on-chain for small transactions. So it's time to start learning Lightning, which is why I want to transition more into educating people about how to use Bitcoin and how to understand Bitcoin than trading Bitcoin.
I also believe that we're going to see a solution because we need it, because of course right now, like you said, on chain you cannot really use Bitcoin for these small transactions, but it's still a perfect store value, perfect gold. As soon as we get this this solution for Bitcoin to be used as a medium of exchange, then that's when we're going to see this huge mass global adoption, I think. And then I think even $1 million is conservative. I think we can reach $5 million actually if Bitcoin takes over the whole.
It really has no limit. I do believe it will be the dominant currency of the world.
Let's say today there's $500 trillion worth of monetary energy, money in the system, and it's divided between currencies like the euro and the dollar. It's divided in tangible hard assets, maybe real estate, trophy assets, art, gold, silver, Bitcoin. And then there's a portion of it that's sitting in bonds and stocks. And Bitcoin is going to grow from that $600 billion asset to become a $10 trillion asset like gold. Then it will subsume gold and it'll become a 20, 30, 40, 50, $100 trillion asset. And that'll be the core of the monetary planet, if you will. Bitcoin is a simple thing. You're buying into the first digital monetary network in the history of the world. You know, it's a gift. Once in 1,000 years, do you actually see the invention of a fundamentally new thing? This is our once in 1,000 year opportunity. You get to buy into it early. You know, what would it be like if you owned 10% of all the electricity that was ever going to be pumped? Or what if you could buy 1% of all the running water that's ever going to be pumped, right? That's what this is, right? You have a chance to buy a percentage of the future. Seems like a no-brainer to me.
When you look at Swissborg
est sorti ce matin.
They have an app where you can buy crypto.
They connect to Binance, HitBTC, LMAX, and Kraken and find the best rates in the markets.
What I like about Swissborg is that they have an amazing app
that can directly buy cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and also cash out as well.
Through Swissborg, all assets will have a fiat gateway. And here is the thing.
Premium features gives you zero fee trading.
That is zero fees.
If you want to buy Bitcoin with fiat, I suggest you buy through Swissborg rather than Coinbase.
And if you're interested in trading the likes of Ethereum or Bitcoin, use Swissborg's application.
In a fast-moving and confusing crypto asset market, get an edge with CryptoSlate Edge. Enhanced, in-depth news coverage and extensive crypto asset and sector data are all part of your exclusive access as a member, helping you understand the market with features such as on-chain metrics and sentiments, all of which allow you to convert knowledge into action with an ad-free experience. As a bonus, access our private Telegram channel to receive live insights whilst engaging with the CryptoSlate community. Subscribe now at cryptoslate.com/edge.